Space is scary. The laser is 'cause I like sci-fi. The dude is 'cause I am a rat guy. 99 is 'cause I like Wayne Gretzky. That's why I'm lazy dude 99. Lazy time and we're gonna do a review. Yes, we're gonna review. Let's talk about movies and comics too. Let's all go on to Hello everyone and welcome to my review of Gravity. That's right, this is the movie starring Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. So let me just say right away what I thought of the trailer. When I saw the trailer for this film, I thought, okay, here we have a film here about two astronauts who are out in outer space when an accident happens, throwing one of them out into deep space. And I thought, well, there's the end of the movie. Thrown out in deep space. What else is there to do? I mean, you're in space. If you're floating out in deep space, you're not going to come across a cab just happening to be driving by. So I was curious of what the movie was actually going to be. I mean, how could you survive after being just flung out into space? And so I was curious, but I wasn't really going to see it until I got free tickets. At the job I go to, they give away free movie tickets on the air since I've been broadcasting, and if they have extra, sometimes I get some. So I got some free tickets to Gravity, and I thought, you know what the heck, I'll see it. I haven't seen a movie in a while. This movie, guys, wow. I was really impressed with this movie because let's just say it's hard to be impressed by movies nowadays. You know, with as much CG as we have and as much, all this high technology we have, it's hard to be impressed by movies like you were impressed by, let's say, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Whether you find the movie boring or you find it amazing, everyone will have to say that the sets on the movie are incredible. And it's amazing to watch those sets in action. But you've never had any feelings like that in movies these days. This movie, right out of the gate, it stunned me. It stunned me because for the first 5 to 10 minutes of the film, one shot. One continuous shot that keeps on. It starts out just a zoomed shot of Earth. Then you slowly start pulling back. And then you slowly start hearing chatter of the astronauts. Then you get to see the astronauts. And you follow the astronaut. Then he goes closer to one of them. Falls back into. And it's all one continuous shots. No cuts. No cuts for the first. As I say, I didn't time it. I wish I did. If I saw this movie again, I'd want to time how long this shot was. But for the first 5 to 10 minutes of the film is one continuous shot. And it feels so fluid, and it doesn't, and it's because the camera's still floating around and moving. It doesn't feel stagnant. It's not like the camera's just like this for 10 minutes of just me talking and not moving. It's like the camera always moves. It zooms in. It goes around as we follow these two astronauts, and then it happens. Stuff just starts going by. You hear that there's this big accident on satellite, so you have satellite debris coming your way. And it hits that thing. And one of the great things this movie does, which is such a good idea, is, the quote, "In space, no one can hear you scream." Well, that's mostly to the point, there's no sound in outer space. Well, yeah, in here there's no sound, so when stuff starts hitting their base, there's no and when stuff starts exploding, there's no boom. All you just see it. Slowly, and then bigger, and get bigger, and the music starts, the only sound that's going on is the music starts going up, and then you see stuff crumbling, and stuff getting destroyed, and then of course, there's no sound, it's more, not, it's, there's such an eerie thing having stuff like that happening with no sound. And it kind of makes you on edge. And then you have Sandra Bullock getting flung out into outer space, and I'm not going to say spoilers, but then you have George Clooney has on, not a jetpack, I don't know what the right term for it. It's not using jets, it's using air, pressurized air to aim, and so he grabs her, but their entire spaceship is destroyed, so they have to try to make their way to another space station before the debris field from the satellites comes around the planet again and comes right at them again. And so the race is on for them to try to find a way to the space station so they can get a ship and go out. I thought I would be bored with this movie, you know? I thought it would be really, you know, because it's space. I mean, sure, you can get some beautiful shots of Earth, and they are beautiful. Like, most of the times in space movies, I'm just like, yeah, I know they're not in outer space. I really felt that they were out of space. Now, I saw it in 3D, and while I don't think it would have mattered if I saw it in 2D or not, this movie really does make you feel like you're in outer space. It doesn't pull any punches. Like, what I mean by that is, like, when she gets thrown into outer space, she's flipping and she's twirling like this, like you would if you were in a no-gravity environment. The film doesn't cop out by just having her float, oh, so it's fluid and you get to see her reaction or anything. It's more scary because it's more realistic on how it would work. Now, as for performances, I really like them because they seem more realistic. You know, like, you have Sandra Bullock, who's going like, because she's not fully an astronaut, like she took the training and everything, but she's an engineer. So she's not an astronaut, she's an engineer working in outer space. While George Clooney is the veteran astronaut that has been in space hundreds of times, and, well, not hundreds, I mean, there's only so many times you can go up in space. Okay, he's been in space a lot of times, and so he knows all the ropes. So when this accident happens, she, of course, is breathing heavily, like, and can you really blame her? Being flung out into outer space, that would put a damper on anyone's day. So she's, like, breathing heavy, and he is calm. And he's trying to stop her from panicking, so he asks her questions, you know, tell me about your life. Where do you live? Where's home for you down there? You know, stuff like that. And, you know, because if it was me up there, I know what I'd be like. I'm gonna die! But George Clooney, being a veteran astronaut, knows how to keep calm in situations like this, how to keep your breathing rate as low as possible so you don't use up all your oxygen, and just how to handle situations like this. So he's trying to calm Sandra Bullock's character down, and both of them has to try to find a way out of it. This, guys, is a truly unique experience for movies. I don't recall ever having a feeling like this in a movie. This, to me, is my, as I said kind of before, it's my 2001: A Space Odyssey, only it makes more sense. Because while you can tell a lot of the shots are obviously CG, I don't think they actually went up to outer space and destroyed the Hubble telescope.
Hey, Mike, you hit something. It's the Hubble. You killed the Hubble.
While most of the shots are CG, it's filmed in such a way, and the movements are so realistic that you forget about it. You basically just accept that you're in outer space with these two people. And you just accept it, and you continue the journey, not thinking, oh, that's CG, and that's CG, and that's CG. In fact, everything but Sandra Bullock and George Clooney in this scene, that's CG. Duh, they're in flipping outer space. I don't think they actually took Sandra Bullock, a film crew, and George Clooney into outer space. But the film really captures outer space well. I thought, okay, am I going to buy that these guys have a chance to survive, or am I just going to be like, oh, this is going to be a depressing movie where they just sit there and realize they're going to die? But this movie, to me, the thing that I can compare it to the most would probably be 127 Hours with James Franco. You might ask, whoa, why that movie of all the space movies you can compare it to? Well, here's the thing. That movie, 127 Hours, is mostly takes place in this one place. A guy with his arm pinned behind a rock. This movie, while it doesn't take place in one place, it takes place in the same place. Space. I mean, they go from their shuttle to more her flinging out to different space shuttles, stuff like that, but it's all one area, and you have to rely on the strength of the performances in order to get you by. And I'm surprised that I did, really. I mean, Sandra Bullock, for the most part, whenever I see her in something, I see, okay, that's Sandra Bullock playing this. For example, she won an Oscar for her performance in The Blind Side. I didn't really see anything that special behind it. But if she got nominated this year for Gravity, I could see it. I think part of the thing that helps is that at the beginning, most of the beginning of the movie, she's in her spacesuit, right? So you really got to just connect. All you have is this. Not even fully this, but that's all you have to go off of for her character. So you don't say, oh, look, that's Sandra Bullock. You say, okay, there's an astronaut. And because most of what you're getting is just through the dialogue and the voice, so you can barely see her face because as she's breathing, she's fogging up and stuff like that. So you really get to feel for this character because you're not focusing on, oh, look, it's Sandra Bullock. You're focusing on, okay, this is this astronaut that is stuck in this horrible situation. George Clooney, maybe it's just the fact that his face is so recognizable, you can see him right through the thing, but in my mind, I think he steals the show. Not that Sandra Bullock did a bad job. I think Sandra Bullock did a great job in this film. But George Clooney really came across... I bought him fully as a seasoned veteran astronaut. You see some movies where you have these guys in outer space, and I'm like, I don't buy that person as an astronaut. George Clooney really felt like a normal human astronaut. He was telling stories, telling jokes, but when it came time to buckle up, and the crap hit the fan, he was there to rely on his training and to rely on his knowledge to get them through this. It also helps that in this movie, you also get sometimes the camera will go inside the astronaut's helmet and you get their point of view, making you feel kind of uneasy, but it's so fluid. I mean, that's what I would use about the camera work in this film. It's so fluid. There's no shaky cam. There's none of this! None of this! That's not to say there's no shaky parts in the film, but it's never jarring. It's never to the point where you can't see what's going on. You can see clearly all the time what is going on, and the only times where you're unsure of what's going on is when the characters are supposed to be unsure what's going on. When she's spinning in space, or when explosions are happening and the debris is coming. That's when you're not supposed to be sure exactly what happened, but you get the basic idea. The camera movement you have plenty of shots where the camera goes inside the helmet and you get to see things from the astronaut's point of view and really making you feel for these characters and get a feel for what they're going through. So in the end, we got great camera work, great acting, unique movie experience that I haven't felt in a long time. This is all around a good movie, and I really think you guys should check it out. If you have the same concerns that I did, that there might not be a whole bunch of a story to this film, put those fears aside, because there is a good story to this film, and I believe it will have some Oscar nominations when the time comes. It better get one for cinematography, because the filming, as I said, the filming in this film is brilliant. So, it's time for rating. I'm going to give Gravity an 8 out of 10. A really good movie about these characters struggling to survive in the worst place ever. I mean, you thought oh no, I'm stuck in an island. That was impossible? No, that's a cakewalk. You thought, oh no, I'm stuck in the wilderness with bears coming at me. You think that is hard? Cakewalk. Being left in outer space, that's hard. You're screwed. So, remember guys, I'm LaserDude99. If I don't like it, it's not worth it. See you around. Be sure to check out more of my other videos on my channel. And wait for more coming soon.